for religious freedom and the controversy surrounding it. Lawmakers in Arkansas and Indiana think that they're close to language that could fix their respective bills. But what is taking so long? It's clear where the problem lies right now. These religious freedom laws turn back the clock to allow discrimination against gays and lesbians. If you don't believe me, I want you to take a look at this. It's from our Gary Tuckman. He talked to 5 florists in Georgia where similar laws in the works. They all said that they wouldn't sell flowers to gay couples.
You're talking about the Bible, how important it is. I mean, the Bible talks an awful lot about love and loving your fellow man.
And it doesn't mean that I love them any less, because I don't. I pray for them. I hope.
But if you don't serve them, it's not like you're
giving them a lot. It's not that I hate them. I don't hate them. But
you're not loving them if you don't want to serve them, right?
Well, yeah, you can still love someone. I mean, even though you don't serve them.
I would respectfully tell them that I'm sorry, that I just don't want to do it because of my beliefs.
But right now, you know, while Georgia is considering a law to make that legal for you to do that, it is not, and you can get in trouble for doing that.
I understand that.
So you would be willing to take that risk?
Yeah. He died on the cross for me, so that's the least I could do for him.
I serve a God who's higher than any Supreme Court judge. It's called the Judge of the Universe, and I don't care what anybody else says.
So no matter what, whether it's a law or not, you would not bring your flowers to a gay commitment ceremony?
No.
Joining me now to discuss this, Kristen Waggoner, the Senior Vice President of Legal Services for the Alliance Defending Freedom, and Rita Sklar, Executive Director of the ACLU of Arkansas, and Penn Jillette, the host of Penn's Sunday School podcast. Good evening to all of you. There was also one part in that interview where he asked the lady, would you serve someone who was an adulterer? That's a sin. And she said, yes, I would, because I think the sins are different. It has been 2 days since the Indianapolis Star said, fix this now. What is taking so long, Kristen?
Well, I don't think that the law needs to be fixed. What we have seen is that the federal religious freedom law has been in place for 20 years, and 31 states have a very similar standard. So these absurd hypotheticals and claims that the media has been portraying are just mere conjecture. But what we do know is that the religious freedom laws actually benefit all Americans, that they benefit all faiths in all different contexts. So the suggestion that this is about one particular current political debate is not reality. And what we do know is what the law does. It's not about picking winners or losers. It's about a process, giving a fair hearing, and making sure that if the government is going to force someone to choose between everything they own, their livelihood and their retirement, everything they own and their religious convictions, it needs to have a compelling interest to do that. And it needs to
Kristen,
do it in the least restrictive way.
This is about what the law does. The law also discriminates, because if it didn't discriminate, what is wrong with putting language in there or into the state's constitution as well that you cannot discriminate against gay and lesbian people?
This law is about religious freedom. It's much bigger than the current political debate.
You're not answering my question. What is wrong with it? If it's not about discrimination, why not put that language in there?
It's about ensuring a fair process regardless of what the facts and circumstances are of a particular case. It's about ensuring that if we're going to infringe on religious liberty and, like in Washington State, force a 70-year-old grandmother to lose everything she owns, the government needs to demonstrate a compelling interest that's narrowly tailored, least restrictive.
You're not forcing against someone's religion or their religious beliefs. That has nothing to do with religious beliefs. If you own a business, you're doing a service. You're not it has nothing to do with religion. If you don't want to serve everyone in the country and in the world, every consumer, then perhaps you should be doing something else.
That is not the case here. What we have seen across this nation is that the government has begun attacking people of faith who simply want to live consistently, both at home and in work, with their religious beliefs. And this law is about ensuring that if you're going to force someone...
How often does that happen, Kristen? How often does that happen?
It's happening all across this nation. As I said, we have numerous cases right now where the government is seeking to not just punish people for their religious beliefs about marriage, but literally coerce them, take everything they own from them simply because they won't create unique expression that violates their religious convictions about what marriage is.
Rita,
that's un-American.
Rita, what is un-American is not to allow everyone to have the same rights. That's what is un-American here. Rita, more than 30 states in Washington, D.C. allow for same-sex marriage. This is just another way of conservatives, right, trying to battle what they have lost here?
Absolutely. This is a backlash against all the progress that has been made in gay rights. It's about fear. And as Julian Bond said recently, that the bills are driven by fear of the unknown, and that we have no crisis of religious discrimination. We have a crisis of fear. I think he really hit the nail on the head. We have the First Amendment. Religious liberty, of course, is a very fundamental right, and the ACLU is dedicated to protecting religious liberty every day in every state across the country. Mm-hmm. But this is about trying to use religion as a means of discriminating against, it couldn't just be LGBT people, it could be anyone, interracial couples or unmarried women.
It's tougher to do it with interracial couples because there are laws in the books that say you can't discriminate against people because of race. You can't discriminate against someone because of gender. Those laws are already on the books. But Penn, what I want to know is what's your reaction to what's happening right now in Arkansas and Indiana and possibly in Georgia as well?
Well, I don't want to misrepresent myself as an expert, but there is more to gay sex than cake and flowers. These people are not being asked to engage in gay sex or even endorse gay sex. They're being asked to sell flowers and cake to people, and that is hypothetical. Now, I'm a libertarian and an atheist, so I'm kind of fighting myself on this. I don't like the government involved in telling people what to do, and I certainly want people to have religious freedom, because the only way people who don't have religion are going to have freedom is if people who do have religion have freedom. But all the same, we have to make sure we don't get too crazy in the hypotheticals. We are not talking about forcing people to engage in gay sex or even endorse gay sex. We're asking them that maybe they can treat people the same as other people, and that does not seem unreasonable. It's okay, I suppose, although goofy, to be against gays, but it's not okay to be against people that simply want to use your services as a business. I mean, the free market should be able to take care of this faster than anything.
Go ahead, Kristen.
The only hypotheticals here are the hypotheticals that somehow there's been discrimination in any way outside of the free exercise and free expression context. I suspect that if we were to ask journalists whether they need to be coerced into writing messages with which they have a disagreement, they would have a problem with that. In the same way we wouldn't force
journalists all the time.
And make no mistake.
Journalists all the time write things they disagree with.
we do it all the time.
We
talk about things that we disagree with all the time.
I'd like to say something about.
As a matter of fact, right now,
to live consistent with their beliefs.
As you speak, CNN is allowing you to say things they don't agree with. As you speak, you are proving it to not be true.
Well, I don't know if
they
CNN doesn't
agree with what you're saying.
Maybe some people who work here don't agree with it. This is just a forum so people can express their opinion. You know where I stand on this. I think discrimination
you're fine with that.
That's my opinion, and I think that
every
the people who are saying that
right now you're being allowed to do that.
They're being disingenuous. Go ahead, Rita.
I'd like to say
every client we have has served gay customers.
I'd like to say, excuse me. I'd like to say something about the purpose of discrimination here. This bill in Arkansas was brought to us by the same duo who introduced the bill to prohibit the passage of non-discrimination laws in municipalities. So the city of Fayetteville, Arkansas, passed a law prohibiting discrimination based on sexual orientation or sexual identity. And because of that, this same team passed a state law saying cities cannot extend further rights to people than the state does. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's simply un-American.
Okay. Hey, quickly, I want to get to this. I want you guys to listen to David Letterman, who is from Indiana, and this is what he said on his show last night.
This is not the Indiana I remember as a kid. We all breathe the same air. We're all carbon-based life forms. And now this guy throws a wrench into the monkey works. I'm sorry, this guy throws a monkey wrench into the works.
The Indianapolis mayor told me here on CNN 2 nights ago that this is a solution without a problem. So why do you think this is resonating on a national level, Penn?
I don't know. It just seems like maybe it's a bunch of people who realize they've lost a battle that's very important to them, and that is to say anyone under 30 is okay with gay rights. The whole thing is ancient history. All we need is a little bit of time, and this will simply be a joke.
Yeah.
And sometimes when people are feeling that their point of view is being lost and they're becoming an anachronism, when they clutch at what they used to believe, it sometimes is not very
I have
pretty.
to tell you, as
Embarrassing.
a person of color who happens to be gay and who has studied a lot about this, those same arguments, the same Bible verses, the same things people say about
Word for
Jesus
word.
That
were
is not
used
true.
against
That is not
black
true.
people and interracial marriage.
true.
And here it is.
Word for
in
word.
2015.
That's absolutely
That is not
true.
Thank
true.
you all for joining me. Coming
And a
up, Chris
recent-
Rock pulled over
Thank
by
you.
police 3 times in under 2 months. Is it a case of driving while black? And also actor